Hey everyone, it's great to be here with you in this week 3 presentation. Within this week's video discussion, you'll find a presentation that is comparative in nature and that breaks down the difference between freedom and liberty in early Western civilization. Even more specifically, my discussion focuses on examining the difference between freedom and liberty in early Plymouth Colony and the surrounding areas. This is an earlier period in the development of the Western world, but I believe it's an important area of history to examine in terms of the colonists' pursuits of freedoms and liberties. Understanding the development of freedom and liberty during the early colonization of North America and the Western world in general, in my opinion, is crucial to understanding the development of Western freedoms in general. In Lawrence Birkin's article, What is Western Civilization?, she states that Frank Roy Willis defines the West as a civilization that developed in the continent of Europe and was carried to areas in other parts of the globe that were colonized by people from Europe. This is how I got the idea to examine this specific topic. Plymouth was the first permanent English colony in the New World and would begin to spread their culture from the moment they first met the Wampanoag, a group of local Native Americans. In fact, the Pilgrims specifically came to the New World to pursue religious freedoms. However, we have to understand the difference between freedoms and liberties and the ways in which they affected those within the colony and within Western civilization. For example, men and women would have very different experiences and roles within the colony and would have different experiences in terms of early freedoms and liberties. In many ways, Plymouth would also be one of the starting points for the development of Western Christian culture in general. In Plymouth, men and women, as I said, would have different experiences and would experience a new kind of religious freedom, but at the same time, there were rules that pertained to their following of the specific religion, the religion of the Puritans. If you missed various events, such as a church service, there could be socially based repercussions. Generally, many early colonists were devout Christians, but at times their main goals for coming to the New World weren't necessarily completely based on wanting religious freedoms. Jamestown, for example, was a colony whose purpose was to make money, and while they basically failed at doing this as the colony eventually was shut down, we can see another example of a group of Christians coming to the New World in search of a new life. In Plymouth, they did have religious freedom, but most of the colonists were constrained by the rules and restrictions of the colony and the government of the colony. So in a way, they almost had more religious liberties than religious freedoms. And I think this is a good example of a time that we can observe the difference between pure freedom and various liberties. Liberties just seem to have more boundaries and limitations because they're restricted by the society that individuals are a part of. Thanks for taking the time to view my video this week, and best of luck to everyone with the rest of the week.